Hello and welcome to Shoot the Shit with Squeegee. I'm your host, the Squeegee of Justice. You may know me as a partner and mod at Trial TV Live, but tonight I'm coming to you with a side broadcast, a place where you get to know me a bit better and I get to know you. So join me and let's go shoot some shit. Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Let us say hello to you. It's been one of those days. As you can imagine, there is so much going on in the background. Just let me know if you can hear me okay, see me okay. Everything's cool. All right, I've got a really special guest for you tonight. Jules will not be joining us. She wasn't feeling well. So she came down around 4 o'clock in the afternoon and rested. She was resting in the car. And when the day ended, I booked her on home. And but we'll talk about that because there's, as with every day, there's a story to be told. But we have Dr. Rachel with us tonight. So I'm really excited to hear her insight into the happenings of today. So I'm going to bring her on stage in just a minute, but we're going to check out the chat. Let's see what we have here. Oh, Dwayne Harris, first in the chat. Thank you, Dwayne. Good to see you. Julie, one of our awesome mods, is also in the chat. Michelle Phillips in North Carolina. Looking good, looking good. Just make sure everything's good here, because we're running things a little bit differently tonight. Okay. Let me just run through here. Not today. No one in my life has heard of this case. Every single time I'm having to explain it all. You know, it's really funny. Not today. I get so many people come up to me. What are you here for? What are you here for? Sarah Boone. They're like, who's that? But then there's other people. There are people walking around today. Just, I heard him, Sarah Boone, the suitcase, Let's see, who else do we have? Dwayne, OnlyFan is here. One of our fantastic mods, OnlyFan. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Pause. What does pause? Not sure what that means. Pause a browser. Let's see. Let's get Aaron on the phone here. Hello. What am I doing wrong?
You have a browser playing.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Let me, my bad. Let's see. This says it's live in 12 minutes. So clearly that's not right. I've got a browser open. It says it's live. All right, let's just get rid of that. All right. Is that better? Is that better? Testing 1, 2, check, check. Robin, is this Chris that's working with Scott and Jules? Yes. Nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for all your hard work. Well, thank you, Robin, for being with us. I really appreciate that. Therapist, another one of our fantastic mods. Hello, Amber, Waves of Grain. So good to see you too. Huma Fox, Dwayne, I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, Dwayne, I hope you are feeling better. Leah, the Empty Nester. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Pilola's mom, thank you. Always great to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, I think I've welcomed everybody. I think we're good. Do I still have another browser open? No, let me try this one. No, I don't. I'm going to close all browsers. All right. Are we good? Is that okay? Are we all good? Okay. Give me ones if audio is okay. Throw ones up in the chat if audio is good. 0, 1 for good, 0 for bad. Still an echo. I only have one browser, so I do not know what is the problem. So I got a lot of ones, and Trial TV says 0. So everybody's saying 1, but Aaron, the Wizard of Oz, is saying bad. So what do I go with? Hey, Mert, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Are we good, Dr. Rachel? You ready to come on? All right, we're going to bring Dr. Rachel onto the stage. Hello,
Hi.
hello. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm like chomping at the bit here to get on because first thing, I have to give a shout out to somebody, a friend of mine who's watching on their TV and they can't access the chat because of it.
Okay.
friend of mine that I went to high school with, Erica, is watching right now. I told her I'd make her famous and give her a shout out. So,
Awesome.
Erica, thank you for tuning in. Sorry, I'm like, what is going on with my hair?
Oh, yeah, you look fantastic. Boy, we've got stories to tell.
Last minute. I can't wait to hear the stories, and I can't wait to just.
All right, so should we start from the end and work our way backward, or start from the beginning? Because you came in. When did you come in?
Yeah, so I caught up. I caught up with. I followed Jules' tweets at the beginning, and I, in between and breaks, I was able to catch like the text, a little bit of the text testimony, and a little bit. I saw the medical examiner. I watched I listened while I was driving, so I did catch up on those. And then I did watch the whole crazy interrogation again. I mean, I've heard that thing 100 times now, and every single time I listen, there's something else I pick up on that I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I think somebody was saying, I can't remember who it was saying, it's like, we have this new lens to listen to this through, right? Because now that she's saying, oh, it was self-defense, battered wife, so now we're, Rachel looks just like who? Oh, stop it, OnlyFans.
Your hair looks as good as Sarah Boone's.
Sarah Boone's. Wow, thanks. It's what I strive for. Yeah, so we can start wherever. I'm actually loving your tiny home, first of all. I'm really jealous about that. That fridge is so cool behind you.
Jules loves that. She's like, oh, that's my favorort color. Yeah, she absolutely loves that.
So retro.
It is really
cool. I love it.
Yeah. It's a Galance. Galala.
So cool. Those are actually like really expensive now, like because they're trendy, so they're cool. And I want to know about anything else, because I saw your recap at lunch, and I think a lot of people did since then. Anything crazy pop up?
Well, we had the detective. Detective Copsel was on the entire day, and of course, she introduced 2 recordings, right? One was just audio, no video, and then the other one was the interrogation when Sarah came back down with the whole phone and all that. But I'll just briefly and quickly. So Jules, let me just finish up with Jules real quick. She wasn't feeling well, so she came down around 4, and she was resting until about 6. And actually, she got some good sleep. I hope that helped her. And then I wanted to get her back home because she just wasn't feeling well. And in the rush, I wanted to get back for our 7 o'clock live. And in the rush, I forgot the keys for the media box. Well, I had the keys, but I forgot to take them back. And if I didn't take them back, that means I left my driver's license there. So this is this is the one key that rules them all. It's the key that opens up the media box. So I get home, get Jules, she's all sorted out, come into my little tiny home, I'm all excited to get ready. And I'm like, oh no, balls. I forgot to drop off the key. So I got to book back down. And luckily it's only like 4 miles. So it took me like maybe 10 minutes or so. Yeah. So I took care of that. And hustled back, and then here we are at 7:30. So not a day goes by that something doesn't happen. It's just amazing how much you plan and you plan. Now on the good side, that was the end of the day. The beginning of the day was our stream was perfect, right? Everybody agrees.
It was great today. I thought all the way through it was really good.
Yeah. Our connection was great. Scott's equipment's connection was great. I listened to Scott finally and put the live view unit properly. The antenna should be facing up. I had him laying down. He's been trying to get me to do that for like a couple of days now, and it just seems so much easier to access it when they were laying down. But I listened to Scott, and lo and behold, he was right.
Good.
Scott, I will always listen to you from here on out. Not that I'm not listening to you, but it just was so much easier to access everything. So anyway, I had it on the passenger car seat, and whenever and you have to understand, it's like a little TV and it's facing up. So whenever Aaron or Scott are saying check the live view, I've got to like do some contortions and it's just a disaster. But it's all good. We're happy that we brought it to you guys and everything was cool.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did too. That's not in my forte. I would not know the first thing about any of that. So when you're talking about it, I'm like, it all sounds amazing. You're doing great.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
And we had to do a hard reboot at the beginning of the day, and I needed a paper clip, and of course I didn't have a paper clip. So Mert again comes through. He asked the local Fox 35 if they had a paper clip, and they came back with oh, I think it's in Jules' car. I should have brought it in. I'll bring it tomorrow. It's a Chi-Chi's pin, and I think it says Josh or something on it. It's like
Chi-Chi's?
Chi-Chi's, yeah.
Is that even still a place?
I don't know. I have no idea. I should have brought it in. All right. I will remember to bring that in tomorrow. Yeah, but it was a Chi-Chi's, and I think the name was Josh or something. So I had that pin. It's like a little, stick pin or whatever. So I used that to do the hard reboot. So again, you gotta think on your feet very quickly. But again, big shout out.
Julie said, "Did you ask Sarah if she had a paperclip? You totally could have borrowed one from her, or a staple. I'm sure she's got one smuggled somewhere."
Yeah, and Mert, thank you for glad to help. Mert is he's not only our boots on the ground with Jules, but he's doing all these other things behind the scenes that you guys don't even realize. But yeah,
I feel like Mert is the guy. He's like the man. He's like the guy in your neighborhood that knows everybody, knows everything. You go to him to solve problems, like fully equipped. I'm loving Mert. I'm loving the recap.
He's our MacGyver. He's Mert MacGyver.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you okay with that name, Mert MacGyver?
I like that.
Even though I know your last name is not, but if you're okay with that. All right. So let's then, Dr. Rachel, let's hear your perspective. Like, when did you come in, or did you watch everything? You caught up? Let me just, you go ahead and take over for a little while.
My most shocking thing was the additional text that I did not know existed. And so I knew beforehand that she had said, I will get rid of him sorry, my dog are jumping around, that I will get rid of him. So I knew about that, but then the follow-up of I love how she says it too, hide and seek I shall, like she has to be so extra. But I did not know she mentioned hide and seek like that. And it's it could be a little out of context, but it didn't sound like it. And the cross didn't make it seem like it was out of context. So
right.
I'm like, this was premeditated. I feel like this was premeditated. As I'm thinking back in Sarah and her personality structure, and how watching the interview again through that lens of her having sent that text, I'm sitting there thinking, all of these things that she's saying, the opposite is true. Like confirmed, we know the opposite is true, right? She lies. It's almost like she knows the truth and she intentionally tells the opposite. And it's wild. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, she is a total lie. She totally planned this. Now, I don't know. That's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah. And you were in the chat saying that, and then there was somebody else that was talking about the two texts. One was like December 20th or somewhere around Christmas, and the other one was in January. And we were trying to figure out who she was sending these texts to. And was that to her?
I think it was to George's. I thought it was to George's brother.
Okay. And why would she be texting George's brother?
And I hope that I'm not wrong about this. I feel like it was, somebody knows differently. And then I wondered if it was George's brother. Is this the brother that beat him up so bad he had to get facial reconstruction?
Wow. Okay.
Because they did mention that. She did mention that part. It was to his brother. See, yeah. And so
Ellie,
if that's the brother.
Yeah, Ellie, thank you. That was you that was chatting earlier. Okay, so it was to George's or Jorge's brother.
One of his brothers.
One of the brothers.
Not that, I don't believe it was the brother that was on the stand.
Testified? Yeah, he was the first witness.
Because that's not the one that beat Jorge up.
Yeah, he was the younger brother on the stand.
Yeah.
I believe. I think you said he was the younger brother.
So we need a little more research on this. I need to figure this out. Because it's interesting that she talks to a brother about that. But if it's the brother that beat him to a pulp, it's not all that.
Right. Right. Okay. Strange. So those texts. Yeah, I hadn't heard about these texts either. That's the first time I had heard about these.
That was I was like, man, this kind of changes almost everything for me. I mean, because I had the sense, which I think a lot of people do, that where it's like, I don't know that she knew he was gonna die. She was absolutely punishing him.
Yeah.
And then her drunkenness was like, poor judgment, whatever, he'll be fine, kind of thing. He'll sleep in there, he'll really regret it, like, just dumb. Like even Sarah said, we were being stupid. But like, I was not in a funny way, obviously, like tried to make it seem.
Right.
So I'm like, I feel like she's been thinking about this for a while. Like this was we're gonna have a great day. I'm gonna set this up so there's no reason to think that I would hurt him because we weren't fighting or anything. No one will ever think I did this intentionally, and it's just, I don't know. And then I think, she knew he was going to die, like, really, in a suitcase? Like, did she know he'd die in a suitcase?
Mhm.
Or was
Yeah,
this a situation where she's like, well, if he does, he does? I don't know, but she's such a liar. It's just so
yeah.
hard.
Yeah, how many times did she say in the interrogation, we were just having fun. It was a perfect day.
Yeah.
It wasn't intentional. I think she said not intentional like
She,
20
she
times.
kept trying to, the cop would say something and she'd say, not intentional. Like,
Yeah,
she wanted to, she's like
it's like
adding that to
grounds.
the end of every sentence.
Yeah, grounds. That was like her
Oh,
trade word.
gosh.
You
It
know,
was like Daryl.
non-intentional grounds.
I
All
know.
right, so I totally forgot. Well, Mert and I recapped the morning, but do you want to talk about the forensic pathologist, Dr. Sarah Zadow? I'm going to butcher
Yeah.
that name. I'll just say Dr. Sarah. Sorry, I'm going to
Yeah.
butcher.
So Dr. Sarah Boone.
Yeah.
So I had this wild, like, couldn't sleep last night theory that, first of all, I'm still perplexed by this diazepine syringe that they found. Did you catch that yesterday?
No, somebody was saying something
Okay.
in the chat. I'm like, what did I miss? Yeah, I totally missed that.
The
Yeah.
CSI lady said in the suitcase with him was an empty diazepine
Okay.
syringe. Diazepine is a benzodiazepine. It's used for anti-anxiety, and in situations of alcohol withdrawal, it could be used to prevent seizures, or like they do a taper so that while you're withdrawing, you don't have a seizure. It's never, I mean, in a rare circumstance, but it would never be sent home injectable with someone. And she said it was prescribed to Jorge. So this just perplexed me. It just blew my mind yesterday. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was asking all these people I know in the medical field, trying to figure out, like, why in the world would this guy have it? And my friend Marie, I don't know if she's watching right now or not, but she said, was Jorge ever inpatient for detox? Because if he was, that may have been prescribed to him for alcohol withdrawal, and he may have stolen one or two to take home. And she said, because crackheads do be crackheading. She said, so he could have stolen it. I was like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. But so I'm like, nobody's brought this up again, right? Since the CSI lady. Why? I don't know. But the medical examiner today did not mention that being in his system. Because here I'm on this whole rabbit hole of, like, did she try to inject him with that and make it seem like it was an overdose? Was she trying to, like, lower his breathing even more? Because it would do that. It would depress his breathing more. Like, how would she not think that's going to be in his system? I'm like on this total, like, this was so intentional,
Yeah,
but then
boy, that
the
takes it to a whole
non-event,
nother level.
apparently.
Yeah, that takes
Yeah.
it to a whole nother level if she went that route.
But he didn't have it in him.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I heard, of course, there was alcohol, but I think it was nicotine, which is whatever. But there was some
caffeine.
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 I was trying to remember with Mert at lunch. Yeah, caffeine. Yeah. So whatever. I mean, that's every day. Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that syringe, definitely. And somebody was asking if there was any kind of meds that were discovered in his system.
Nothing. They asked what his toxicology showed, and she said alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine. That was it.
Yeah. Yep. So he was clean in that regard, but he was definitely drunk in the other regard. So,
I'm assuming they did, like, a panel, right? And, like, a typical drug panel is amphetamines, opioids, benzodiazepines, THC. It's like the main categories. And I can't imagine they wouldn't test for those. I mean, in a murder, so.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah.
And she didn't mention anything else. So, and that, I guess, so that was like a non-event, that there's this random syringe, and okay, I guess.
Yeah, Not Today says, why was it in a suitcase she's throwing away? That's right. They were supposed to be giving this to like Goodwill or something, and there was some clothes. I know. Right?
Your kids. Yeah, I know. I don't.
Yeah. And Aaron and I were talking about that. I think it was last night. It's like, basically they were just getting rid of their garbage, their trash. They didn't want to just throw it out, so they're going to go give it to Goodwill. I mean, who does that? That's just.
But now I'm thinking, Sarah got this suitcase out because she knew what she was going to do at the top of the stairs, and she's going to kick him down in it. I don't know. I just feel like this was so much more than just a suitcase sitting around and, let's get in there. And he was very drunk.
Yeah. And people in the chat were talking about how you become more limber, when you're under the influence. And I go back to, like, whenever there's like drunk driving and somebody gets hit, invariably somebody gets hurt or killed, but the drunk drivers always never, well, not always, but very rarely are even, they just walk away. Why is it?
Yeah.
I think it's because
more relaxed, right?
Yeah.
They say when you brace yourself in an accident, it causes more damage than if you just
Yeah.
don't see it coming.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe that's why he was a little bit more limber and he was actually able to get into
Yeah.
that. Because if this man
Well,
I was gonna say if this man had survived, he would have a career in getting in and out of suitcases at the circus.
he's like a contortionist, like literally.
You know?
Well, and yeah, and
Turning
so then
Gumby, yeah. Therapist,
thinking
yeah.
about how badly Sarah wanted to go back in for her Dr. Pepper, and I was like, "Do you want to get back in there because she remembered that syringe was in there?"
Yeah.
But then I start, you know, then my mind was like all over the
Yeah.
place. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So that was our let's see, our
So
forensic
that's medical. Oh, and
pathologist.
so
Yeah.
I also was wondering if maybe because they did accidentally stream and show him out of the suitcase yesterday, his body, and so there was a brief moment you could see his legs and you could see him, and he was relatively flat. His arms were clenched, but he was and I thought, like, with rigor mortis, how would he be so flat? So I actually reached out to Cheryl McCullum, and I asked her about that, and she was saying what the medical examiner said today, that after 12 hours or 11 hours, 12 hours, he would have loosened, but you could also break rigor, she said. So if he came out scrunched up, she could have laid him out. It would have taken a little bit of strength, but she could have done it. And I was like, oh, how awful. I just can't even. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, did she actually take him out like at midnight and he's been laying there and she's trying to figure out what to do? So, but they confirmed today that the lividity, so where the blood was pooling, she could tell he had been on his left side and a little bit on his back. So it was consistent with him having been in there for about 12 hours or 11 hours.
Yeah. Thanks for going over that, because I thought the same when I did see some of the pictures. And he was laid out flat. And I think I asked the chat, I'm like, how do you get out, you know, because if you're in rigor mortis, how do you then get flat? So thank you for explaining that.
Yeah. I had no idea you could force somebody to not be like physically, but that's just like so upset. That's almost just as upsetting to me thinking of her doing that. It's like such a morbid.
I know. Yeah. Poor poor George. Yeah, just all the way around.
Contusions.
Yeah.
The contusions, which she did say could they have been caused, some of the marks she said could have been caused by just poking.
Yeah.
And was it clear? I don't know. Did she say like just the marks on the arms, or was she saying the face too? Because I thought he was pretty badly hit in the face.
That's what Mert said. Mert, and if you want to pop in the chat there, you know, he said it looked like he had gone like 15 rounds with Mike Tyson or something. He was just his face, his eyes, he was just beat up. So was that, if you subscribe to the theory that she pushed him down the staircase, that would certainly cause some things. If you then go with the fact that she was like poking him, I feel like Bart Simpson was like poking, what's that big, the fish, the fish that has a bunch of eyes, you know, he's like poke, poke, poke,
right.
Poke. You know, I mean, it's like, oh my God. Or she's hitting him like a piñata, you know, I mean, what the actual hell?
And she even said, or I think she's going to say, she hit his hands with the bat because he was trying to get out. She's scared he was going to get out. Yet she also earlier said she left a little space open for him so he could get out. Like, she's just.
Yeah. So Julie says he had injuries on the back of his head too, I think. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he
all
had
the way around.
Yeah, his left side, he had three contusions or bruising on his left side. Yeah. So just a disaster, the poor guy. Yeah.
So Mert was saying no reaction from Sarah while this is all being talked about.
Right. Lucy, snakes will hiss. Also, there would be spatter either way if damage done out of the suitcase, out of the case. So that was a question I had. I forget, and again, sorry, chat, because so much was going on, and I know I kind of went back and forth with some people. Maybe even been you, Rachel. I'm not sure, Dr. Rachel. But if he's okay, she's taking these videos and he's begging, to be let out. Do you think that she hit him before she took those videos or after? Because if you're begging to be let out, wouldn't you also say, oh, it really hurts, you hit me, or something like that? Or what do you think?
I mean, he had already been pushed down the stairs by that point, obviously, because the video is taken downstairs.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm wondering if you would say that, oh, babe, I'm hurting, I can't breathe, or people in the chat were saying, no, he just can't breathe, and he's just doing anything and everything he can just to get out.
Yeah, and like if he couldn't say more than that, like if he was losing his breath, he was just trying to, say
Just
the
any-
important part.
Yeah.
But there was 11 minutes, right, in between each of those videos.
I think so. Yeah. So Huma
So
Fox, I would think Jorge would mention being in pain when she took those videos. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I think he would be, but maybe not. Maybe like you're literally begging for your life. And like you said, Dr. Rachel, maybe he's just like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Here's having this whole soliloquy of like, oh, I can't breathe. And it hurts where you punched me and I keep, all this stuff,
Yeah.
So
Like
maybe
try to get out by that point. Because who knows? I mean, he could have been in there for quite a while already.
Yeah.
And already gone through all of that. Like, why'd you hit me? Why'd you do, I don't know.
Right. And then it begs the question, not today. I think down the stairs knocked him out. He came to and forgot how he got there and started begging. That's interesting.
That's possible.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Or
and then you're just so disoriented and you're beat up, and then he's like,
he's already wasted. So
yeah, that's a good one. Not today. I haven't heard that one. I like that one.
Jeez.
Huma Fox. I would think Jorge would mention being in pain when she took the videos. Yeah, that's I'm leaning towards that. But then now also, if he got pushed down the stairs and he came to, he may just be like, "What's happening? Please, I can't breathe. Help me," and not even thinking about all his other pains,
Right.
All right, those are some good comments and good job, chat. Let's see what. Okay, so we got the pathologist. We have Meredith McCaskill, the senior crime scene analyst with FDLE.
That was that was the cell.
Yeah.
Person.
Yeah,
right?
that's where the text.
Okay.
Those were the text messages, which we covered. But is there anything else anything that we missed there?
Well, someone was saying, so Brian, the defense in cross was trying to make it seem like that was Brian's phone also. And so like maybe he would have sent those texts, I'll get rid of him or whatever. Well, Brian wasn't talking about hide and seek, and Brian didn't take those videos. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Even Jules was like, I don't know why that would matter, but I think he was basically paying for it. It was under his account, maybe.
He was paying for everything, it seemed like, other than the food and the alcohol, and that's about it. Yeah. Seemed like he was paying for a lot. Yeah. All right. And then finally, let's see. Well, not finally, but we have the digital forensic examiner, which of course that was the big moment with the videos. That was I know I was waiting for that. Yeah. So so the video. So is there anything new that we hadn't seen?
I don't think so. I was just dying to be watching those jurors when that happened. I mean, they had to have been like, what is going on?
Mert says suitcase also had to be moved because stairs end at a wall. Suitcase further in room during.
Yeah, it was.
Mert, I love your typos. I know you say typos, man. I love your typos. I think I'm translating that right. Dringen is during. I hope that's during video.
During. Oh, good one. Yeah. I'm usually good at this too.
But well, Mert said, that the jurors were not reacting. They were focused on the video and they weren't looking at her, and they weren't,
They're like, what am I watching right now? Like, does not compute.
Yeah, they didn't have a visceral effect of like, because some videos that we watch of somebody passing away are like horrific. We've seen those. We're like, oh, this one. Yeah, I mean, it's terrible, it's sad, but it's not like, oh, to me at least, and that's just me. It's not like, oh, I'm crying watching this. Yeah.
It's kind of creepy. It's kind of like, oh my.
It's very creepy.
But think about, like, we heard about this case, right? We read about it, we heard about it, we talked about it for a long time before we saw those videos.
Yeah.
And then we saw the video. So I feel like in that way, it was not as shocking to us because we kind of already had this mental imagery of what had gone down. But these people are hearing this all within 24 hours. And it's such a bizarre, such a bizarre situation. Like,
it's almost
now they're realizing, oh, that's why they asked about a suitcase video. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say, it's almost, I don't want to say desensitized, but you're right. It's like I've seen it so many times now, and I've gone over it with so many people, you included, and it's like now that the moment is here, it's like I didn't feel that same feeling that I felt when I first watched it.
Right.
Imagining what they're feeling like. They're like, holy crap, this is why we're here. This truly this is why we're here.
I thought the silence after the video was good, and I thought that the state should have made that silence last a little bit longer. I thought before he started talking, I thought he should have taken his time going back to the podium, taken, because I thought that the silence was very deafening after
Yeah.
that video, and like to let that soak in for the jury.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
but the little bit of it was effective, I think. So.
Yeah. So not today. In the car interview, she does say the suitcase was upstairs. It's the only time, but she does say it once. Okay.
I seem to remember that. She has
Somehow,
a little bit of slippage.
somehow that suitcase got downstairs, Sarah. How did it get downstairs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So let's see so then we broke for lunch, and then so then the afternoon was nothing but Detective Chelsea Copsall, and
Yes.
2
What,
interviews.
AKA Wendy Adelson 2.0. Sorry, detective. If you see this, I don't mean that as an insult. She just
I know.
resembles her, and her voice sounds just like her.
Yes. Well, if
Yeah.
she is watching, should we talk about the ASMR or no? We won't.
Except for
Yeah.
detective, you gotta stop doing that. We can't focus on what you're saying when you lip smack. I know you don't mean to.
Yeah, it was still riveting testimony. I thought I was still listening to
Yes.
it, and hearing her perspective yet again. We've heard her now a couple times. The interview. Oh, there! I just lip smacked. Now I'm doing it. Damn it!
No. My ears.
I know. So yeah, it was good to see her on the stand. We saw her at one of the motions a week or two ago. So it was good to see her actually on trial on the stand. Was there anything that she said that jumped out at you or that you recall?
Yeah, I just did it
Chat,
too.
other than her dry mouth. Yeah, chat. Was there anything that you guys anything that she said? Was there any bombshells? I don't think there was really any bombshells.
There's nothing she really said, I think, because she was just kind of introducing the video, saying when she got there, who she talked to, and then the videos played. So
yeah, they didn't
nothing really struck me.
Right, that's true. Yeah. And there was nothing in those videos with the audio and then the interrogation that I feel like I think we've seen those. So that wasn't too. I think the videos. I think that the videos of the suitcase, because they saw the suitcase. What day is today? Today's Monday. So we saw the suitcase on Friday, right? And then now we saw the video of him literally probably within a half an hour is going to be dead. So now for that jury to put those things together. The baseball bat though on Friday, that was new to me. Oh, and she did mention that interrogation. There's a video of Jorge hitting the TV with the baseball bat. I've never heard of this, seen it. Go ahead.
I've never seen any of these videos, but I'm very curious about them. I want to see them because my theory is that he acted in self-defense. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to let Jorge off the hook if he was abusive, because clearly Sarah did have injuries from him.
He was no angel.
And it is not right. And hitting somebody is never acceptable. It is not, her, however, how as annoying as she is, does not deserve that kind of treatment. But I am curious of how she's reacting to his violence. Is she like, oh, nice try, you missed, blah, blah. Is she taunting? Is she scared? Is she like, what is this dynamic is so toxic and bizarre.
Yeah.
I just really wonder.
I can see them like the Only Fan, Courtney Clenny, and where they're fighting. She's punching, meaning Sarah's punching Jorge, and he's just like, get off me, and then things escalate, especially if they're drinking. He may smack her. We know he stabbed her with a steak knife, or do we? Maybe she did it. Who knows? But I can see him fighting back to the point of.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
What?
I still need to figure out what I'm going to do for my book report.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Sorry, it's like homework duty here too. Also, you got to say only fans. You can't say only fan, because for a second there I thought you were talking about our mod, but you were talking about Courtney Clenny.
Yeah. Hold on. The property manager is. Let's see. I'm home, but should I call him?
Yeah, put him on live. See if he wants to Zoom. OnlyFans.
No, the Courtney Clenny, and I'm so sorry, I forgot the.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. But OnlyFans in the chat going, hey.
Yeah. But it's again a toxic relationship, and I can totally see Jorge fighting back to the point of like, stop it, what's up, stop it. And in that fighting back, smacking her, whatever. And I guess especially when you're drunk or whatever. So yeah.
And the thing is, though, I see these like, the domestic violence cycle of the love bombing, honeymoon stage, and then getting violent again. I see Sarah as a love bomber in that she bails him out of jail, helps him get back on his feet. She's like the case manager, the therapist, the support. She's helping him out. Like she says over and over, I helped him. His PO was so grateful that I was in his life, and he always wants to be with me. And I think she really like took advantage of that. So I can see her as the love bomber, if that makes sense. And and that cycle being sort of escalated by her. Again, yes, you're right. He was no angel.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is I think it went both ways.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So not today. She kicked him to get him down to pick him back up. Yeah. I think Dr. Rachel, you said a couple weeks ago that she had the upper hand as far as that relationship, as far as, intelligence in this
power dynamic.
Not at all putting Jorge down at all, but I think she definitely controlled that relationship. To quote Seinfeld, she had the upper hand,
Yes.
And I think he to me was like a puppy dog. Same with Brian to a certain extent. I think Jorge was like the puppy dog, and she would kick him, and he would just come back and be like, "Babe, come on, I'll change. I'll be different this time." And then she's like, welcome him back in, and she's getting just
you
as
on
much.
Your feet, on your savior. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So Shore Life Creations. Well, from what Brian said, he had to do the same thing, fight her off. Yeah. And he had more weight on her for sure. So let's see. So he could hold her off more. Yeah. Yeah. And what Brian would said, that I found it offensive, but, he said, she had claws, and I know other people didn't have a problem with that, but anytime.
And Haley. Yeah, Haley, that's a good point. She talks about coercively controlling him with the phone. And that's part of that upper hand, right? Like she had the stable place to live, even if it was being paid for by Brian. She had the phone that she shared with him. He couldn't contact his kids unless he had her phone to use. He's on all kinds of probation and all this other stuff from her calling the police when they had disputes, right? And so he's always in this vulnerable situation where he needs her and she's abusing him. And he's abusing her, but she still comes out on top all the time.
Yeah. Now, Sarah, in that interrogation, she was talking about Jorge's ex-wife and what a nightmare she was and all of that. I guess I don't really remember that. I thought I had watched, maybe I didn't watch it in depthly as much as I thought I had, but I don't really remember that the ex-wife was brought into, but I heard it today in the testimony or when they played. So
I wonder who knows.
I'm sorry, what?
Who knows about that? Like this is Sarah's perception and her reporting and how truthful is she? And 100%. Also, Jorge could have been a huge jerk to her. There could be a reason why she doesn't want her kids around him, and there could be a reason why she makes things difficult. Like she may feel like he owes her because of how poorly he treated her. You just never know. What that situation is.
That's true. That's true. All right. Do you guys have any specific questions?
Well,
go ahead.
Vinyl said, Vinyl said Brian didn't testify about her spouse abuse or drinking, but he wasn't asked. And I don't know why they didn't ask that.
Well, here's a thought. Thank you, CGC Vinyl. Is rebuttal that they may bring. There's not a lot, but there's several witnesses that are subject to recall. So they may be bringing them back to see what the defense does. And then the state brings back Brian to maybe introduce some more evidence. Are they allowed to do that or no? How does rebuttal work?
But so the defense will be able, because you can only cross on what was asked in direct, right? Correct. You can't bring up new topics. So, so it would really be on the state to bring up how Sarah treated Brian, because the defense is not going to want Brian to talk about her being abusive. They're not going to ask him that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So defense goes, and then the prosecution sees what the defense brought up, and then they bring Brian back in rebuttal and say, boom, and they
in rebuttal.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I guess they could. Yeah, I hadn't thought about bringing them back on rebuttal. Yeah, they may have wanted to kind of just keep the case really simple,
right?
And then use Brian to refute the things that Sarah would say, because if Sarah starts talking about Brian, that opens the door for Cross. Sarah is going. The state is going to be locked in on what she's saying, because anything she opens the door to, they get to cross her on.
Yeah,
and she can't read from a script. She has to do it from memory.
Yep, and we've heard a couple, interrogations and testimony already. So she, deviates from that even the slightest bit, it's going to be like an Amber Heard moment,
She's gonna
where she brought in Kate Moss. All right, Leah. I think it's Leah. I'm so sorry that
Leah. It's Leah.
It's Leah. Okay, Leah, the empty nester. Thank you. All right. What irritates me is that she called the police on Jorge 19 times. Holy smokes! I didn't realize that. She wasn't afraid to call if she felt unsafe. Yeah. So that tells me she didn't think she was in danger. Yeah. And how can you possibly be in imminent danger when somebody's in a suitcase? That's not imminent danger.
He might get out, but I left a little opening so he could get out, but he might get out. So I went upstairs and fell asleep because I was so scared he was going to get, none of this makes any sense. It's all nonsense.
Something jumped out at me in the interrogation that we saw was that, I think it was the male detective. I forget his name right now, but he says, well, were you drunk or were you afraid? Or you don't remember, but you do remember. You didn't drink that much, but you were drunk. So I forget the exact line of questioning, but she was kind of like, he kind of caught her there. Because on one hand, she's saying, oh, we were so drunk. I was so drunk. I passed out. But then she's like, we only had a few drinks. So it's like, well, which was it?
Yeah.
Pick
and he's like, so you're telling me you did this and you weren't under the influence, to try to lock her into oh, I wasn't impaired. I did this of my own volition, right?
Right.
And he gave her all these opportunities to say, yes, it was in self-defense. I was scared. And she didn't take it. She never took the bait of the, hold on a second, Drew.
Sure.
I'll be there in just a minute. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay.
Well, Robin says judge is aiming for 10:30 for the state to rest. Wow. So we still need to we have to do cross on Copsel. We have to do cross on Detective Copsel still. And then I guess they're going to rest. And then defense kicks in. And Sarah's got to be the first one, because they can't bring in
Dr. she has
Harper.
To be.
Yeah, they can't bring in Harper until she testifies.
Do we want to do a poll to say how long we think that Sarah is going to testify for? So we have Jodi Arias at 16 days or 18 days? I can't remember which. What do we think? Is it going to be an hour? Is it going to be 4? Is she going to take the whole day?
We can do that. We'll do that tomorrow once we're live, right?
Yeah.
All right. What was that, Sure Life? I'm sorry that Aaron, would you mind popping that up again if you can? And it went by pretty quickly.
Yes, not today. It was 18 days straight. And it was, yeah.
Sorry. Okay, now I heard that Sarah's testifying like she is because she's going to tell some untruths, and Owens doesn't want to be part of perjury, so he backed off questioning her and letting her go. Okay.
Yeah, so when a defendant has told multiple different stories about what happened and then they need to testify, that's common that the attorney will not question them, because if they know one or two of those things is not true, they can't lead them into answering something they know she's going to lie about. So they protect themselves and just let her narrate. But the state can cross her.
Right. Well, Robert Tellis, that was a classic example. They just let him go get up there and narrate, and boy, did he narrate. And Squinting Cat. She could have wheeled Jorge in the suitcase right out that front door and called 911 or his brother to come get him.
That's a good point.
Yeah, she could have done a lot. she could
have put him out on the front porch. Yeah, she literally could have, and locked the door and called the police, said he's in there. He got himself in there, come help him get out,
Come and get him, yeah. But she was too drunk to make a rational thought, but she wasn't drinking that much. Which is it? Pick a lane, Sarah, pick a lane.
Yeah. Dwayne says 22 days. 22 days on direct. 1,083 days on cross.
Yeah, good one, Dwayne. You always come up with some good zingers. I love it.
One thing about the interrogation that really I was really tuned into was the multiple times the focus went back on her. I didn't sleep last night. I need water. I'm still here now, even after he's dead, trying to help him. He always wants to be with me. And then the most, I don't even know how to describe this moment and what it was like. When they start playing her the video on the laptop,
Mhm.
And she watches like the first 5 to 10 seconds and goes, "Your battery's about to die." And they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." It's like they just were showing her an episode of Blue's Clues or something. Like,
Yeah.
it was totally bizarro. Like, she wasn't like, oh my gosh, what is this? Nothing. It was like, "Oh, your battery's about to die. You might want to fix that."
Clearly, she's paying attention to something other than what she should be paying attention to.
Or like that didn't affect her at all. Like
Yeah.
that's what she focused in on,
I
rather
know.
than the fact that they're showing you a video you took,
Yeah.
like, of him dying. What?
Right. And then did she say also, like, she's like, "Oh, I can't watch this. I don't want to watch this," or something? I've seen enough. Right.
How long is this? Because I don't know how much I can take.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
Mhm.
Unbelievable.
And the best part of the whole interrogation is that you come to realize that the entire time she's been in there, they're just waiting on the arrest warrant to be signed.
Yep.
No, the
Yep.
whole time they're biding their time, just trying
Yeah.
to keep her chatting, trying to see if there's a
Yep.
motive. They're
Yep.
not really interrogating her, although they are. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like, and then it's
Yep.
like, do, and you can tell, like, Detective Copsel gets up, and you can tell she's probably calling the judge's clerk, like, how
Yeah.
much longer is this going to
Yeah.
take? You know,
We
like,
need this
we-
stat. We need this stat. Yeah. Or, you know, or
And
it's
then
like
when they cuff her, and she goes, "Why is this happening?
I know. Yeah.
Why is this happening?"
Like, who?
Like,
Little me? You know? It's
ma'am,
like,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I have no idea how this happened.
Julie, what are you chomping at the bit for? I'm missing. I'm chomping at the bit for that part. I missed that. What are you chomping at the bit
What
for?
part?
What part, Julie?
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's going on? Why are you doing this? And then she's like, "Wait, I need water. Oh, wait, I need to get someone to get my son. I have things in my car I need to pick up. Can I go home and prepare for that?" Like, ma'am, where do you think you are? What?
She's in La La Land. She is just
Yeah.
somewhere, another reality, you know.
Yeah.
All right, Haley Mouse. I'm really looking forward to seeing how differently she speaks on the stand after they've already seen and heard her today. I agree, Haley. And OnlyFan brought up when I think it was the first responder, that wonderful deputy. We saw her body cam, and OnlyFan said, "Jury, meet Sarah. Sarah, meet the jury." And when she was like, it was perfect. Yeah. Julie, I was waiting for her to be charged, cuffed, and stuffed.
Yeah.
And she was.
And she
But
was.
yeah, that jury saw her in that body cam. They saw her in this interrogation, and you're absolutely right. Now she's going to get up there and be like, "Oh well, I was abused, and I did this," and she's going to come across. They'll probably dress her as a school marm. You know how they always do that.
Oh gosh, what are they going to put
glasses on her? Put her hair up that she can't really put up, but you know the
like
drill.
Jody. Hair in the low ponytail, the glasses, and
long dress to her ankles.
Yeah, showing her broken finger, like Jody Arias's broken finger.
I know, and it was like twitching.
See. Sorry, we shouldn't laugh about it. Ooh, it was really funny.
I know.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay, Chris. Do you think that in Cross, because they could obliterate her? I mean, they really could. But do you think it's a good idea for them to come in super hard? Like, if they make her cry, I'm feeling like that's not good.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that hard. I wouldn't do a wand. I don't think that is necessary.
Yeah, okay.
I would just be, strong and but not a jerk. Be respectful still, but also, I mean, she did suffer some abuse. I'll grant her that. Like, I have the ability to grant, but I'll grant her that. But maybe in Alan Jackson, where she, he still kind of holds her feet to the fire, but not too much of a jerk. I think I love Juan, and I'm so sorry that he ended up.
I do too.
Where he is, but I mean, that is just classic. Him sparring with Jody is just like master's class. So
yes,
but she deserved it. I mean, she deserved to be like hammered by somebody like Juan. Nobody else could have done that cross.
Yeah.
So to come in, if Jay comes in that strong, might be a little off-putting. So I would tend towards pull it back just a little bit, but catch her, because she's going to be, you know. How about you? How do you feel? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Robin just said she's been emotionless. Let her stay that way. I think I think the prosecution would have that would be a benefit to them to keep her remaining stoic through this tough conversation. I think that if they press too hard and make her cry, they'll see she's capable of that, and I don't think that's a good idea. But I think attacking the logic, just matter of fact, how does this make sense? Explain that to us. And when she says something that doesn't make sense, let the jury just hear that and not keep on it.
Exactly.
Some skill.
Because you don't want her to cry, because I think that will open the door for sympathy, and I don't think she deserves any sympathy, because nobody wants to see anybody cry, but especially somebody who's claiming that she was abused. I mean, no need to make this person cry.
Right. You know? And let's be real also, if we want to access the small part of some of us maybe that could have this tiny bit of empathy for this woman, if that's out there, she didn't become this way for no reason. She's obviously had some stuff happen in her life that has made her, that has taught her to lie and manipulate and treat other people like this in a way that helps her survive. And that's very sad. Now, she's an adult and responsible for her own, you know, actions now, and should have been working on that, and she wasn't. But, you know, I mean, I think to come at her in a battered spouse defense situation, regardless of how absurd that is, they need to just keep it very logical, administrative.
I agree.
To the point.
There's a few people that are saying she's not going to cry, and I get that. I think the narcissistic in her will not allow her to cry. But Sneaky, I'm going to get to your point in just a second. Are we going to hear from the property manager? We haven't heard from the property manager yet.
The defense probably will call, because isn't that like Sarah's buddy or perceived buddy?
Oh, the female who called her, coined her Punky Bear. Yeah, we haven't heard from them yet. So
maybe that'll be rebuttal.
I do not see the state resting tomorrow unless they'll bring them back as rebuttal.
I think they're trying to avoid character assassination for whatever reason. And I don't think that's really bad, because I think it keeps the focus on the main point of what she did. And it leaves, that way everybody's not just out there muddled with, well, you know, is she a good person, a bad person? Like, that's not the point, right? It's what she did. And if it constitutes these charges, being guilty of these charges. So I kind of respect it, because I think they had a lot of people that could speak to their experience with Sarah, and it would just be a complete character assassination.
All right, Sneaky Sides. Sarah's testimony is like the president is like cut onions. She may make others cry. yeah, she very well may. Vicky, you say the property manager testified already. Let me check that. Maybe one of them did, but
it was a guy. A guy did. It was a maintenance person.
Yeah, it was the maintenance. Oh, I loved him. He was great.
Yeah.
So we had the younger brother. We had the public assistant manager, 911. We had the neighbor. We had two neighbors. Then we had Brian. Then we had Abraham Moreno. He was the maintenance supervisor.
Yep.
So we did not have, and I liked him. He was definitely like fighting back. I liked him. He was kicking back. So we have not had any property manager. I believe there were two. There was one male and female, or at least the female. And then the one guy that we saw in the Babe video. So we have not seen a property manager just yet. So I think you're right. I think maybe they'll call them. If they call them, they'll call them on rebuttal.
Yeah.
To maybe refute some stuff. Yeah.
The poor Publix manager who's like, I just happened to be working that day. This sucks.
And I asked the chat, I'm like, can you imagine if you saw yourself in the video, like you're just randomly at Publix or any store, it doesn't matter. CVS, pick a store.
Her.
You know, pick a store, Tops, it doesn't matter. And then you're like, oh crap, there I am. You know. And it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. You could be there, you know, with somebody you shouldn't be there, or you could be, you know, whatever it is. But yeah. All right. Any questions, chat? You got any questions? Let's see. What do we got going on? Not today. Any questions, chat? Not today. Not today.
Not today.
The lady who got booted out. She on about. Oh, did that go on record?
That was amazing.
Yes.
I don't know what she yelled at first to get in trouble, but once the judge called her out, she's all like, "We all just need to get along. God bless all of you." I don't know. It was just like mumble.
Yeah,
jumbo.
Jules said, and Mert, you can maybe pipe into it, but Jules was saying that the bailiff who brings in Sarah, who Jules and I saw this morning getting out of the car, and I took a picture of her. I'm not going to post it because I don't want to do anything. Don't want to get her in trouble. But I did see her, and she brings in Sarah and takes her out every day. that bailiff or that sheriff was saying that this woman has been in trouble before. And Jules said she was very nicely dressed. She had long braids, but they were, pulled back. And she, to me, she sounded like she was, tipping the old bottle there. But Jules didn't get that per se. But she said that this woman, she was asking about her readers. And this was before Sarah came in. She's like, give me some readers. Who has readers? Who just stands up in the middle of a courtroom and yells, give me my readers? Whatever. But then after, so she also had sunglasses on. Remember that the judge said, take the sunglasses off? So she had the sunglasses on, and then he finally just said, gave her the boot. And
listen, she's one of us. She's one of the true crime community, you guys. Shore Life said she yelled out, is this the Sarah Boone case?
Yeah. And
she's looking around. Everybody wants to see the Sarah Boone case.
Yeah. And Deanne, yes, she was the one that had the sunglasses on. I saw your comment there. And Ronnie, hey Ronnie, how you doing? Good to see you. Aren't Jorge's family going to testify? His younger brother did. He was the first witness. And I thought there would be more, but we're also trying to figure out what would they bring to the table? Like what would they bring other than Sarah's abuse perhaps to Jorge? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Because I thought too, I thought for sure they would be, but CGC Vinyl, I thought they said it would be 3-week trial. Yeah, it could be over next week if Sarah's not on the stand forever.
Yeah. I think that may have been too, they were thinking when Sarah was going to be defending herself that it was going to be 3 to 4 weeks. Can you imagine, now that we've seen how it's going with her having a defense attorney, what this would have been without one? Disaster. I honestly can't even imagine it. Yeah, it would have been a total disaster.
Yeah, disaster. Yeah. Caricature Productions. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Hey guys, I too am curious about the family being in the courtroom. Mert, you can jump in the chat and talk about that. I think they were there until some the autopsy photos were pulled out, and then they think they left. I don't know if they came back for the video, like after lunch. I'm not sure if they came back or not.
Carrie, I want to know if the neighbor you interviewed, if he is going to testify. Was he called to testify? Do you know? It was such a good interview.
Yeah, and I thought one of the two neighbors was. I thought it was one of them, but I guess
I wondered.
Yeah. She plays the bro.
They were great though. They're like, I tried to avoid her at all costs.
I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, and she's like, "What the heck's going on over there?" He's like, "Babe, I don't know. Something's going on." The whole house is shaking.
Oh, she plays the brother against Jorge. Okay. So that was who she must have been texting then about, I'll get rid of him or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Mert, you don't know either. What don't you know about the family or Jorge's parents? Oh, Jules. Hey,
Jules. Hi, Jules.
I hope you're
letting me take your place. Yeah, I hope you're doing well.
His parents have not been in the courtroom. Okay. So the people that were there, they got up and left during I thought. And then I don't know if they've come back or not. Denny Dawn, I think they didn't call his family because defense wanted to get into all of George's crimes and stuff. Maybe they didn't want to open that door.
Okay.
That could be. Because there's some history there, I believe, from what I've heard. Jules, the victim's advocate, has been there with younger members of Jorge's family.
Oh, good. Good. Well, if the defense calls them to try to get that information in, they're going to look like huge jerks. So. Yeah. Yes, therapist. We hope Jules is feeling better too. Well, she's feeling well enough to pop in. So thank you, Jules. Yay!
Cheers to you.
Yay! Yeah, the neighbor. I don't like being around drunk people. So.
Yeah. Carrie, caricatures. I need some decompression. Yeah. Jules, did you hear when I dropped you off? I had to go back to the courthouse because I forgot the key. I forgot to drop off the key, the one key that rules them all. I had to drop that off and get my driver's license. So I technically was driving without a driver's license 4 miles this way and 4 miles back. So if I had gotten pulled over, I'd be making a phone call. Aaron, tell Chad.
Oh my gosh.
Denny Dawn, I hope you're better, Jules. Worry about you. Yeah, we all do. So Mert says, by the way, the bald guy in court is Robin sending good vibes and healing to you, Jules. Yes. Mert says the bald guy in court is a private detective. Now, which bald
For
guy
who?
than Henderson?
For
We
who?
know Henderson. We all know him. But yeah, Mert, which white guy, black guy, defense?
Like, is he a detective for Sarah, or is he? Yeah, is he for the family?
Oh, Dwayne, you have to leave. Mr. Owens Open just popped up on my TV. Okay. All right, Dwayne. Thanks for joining us,
Okay,
brother.
bye. Thanks, Dwayne. Hope
Good to
you're
see
doing
you.
okay.
Thank you. Jules. Oh, no. It's not your fault at all. Don't worry about it. Nope. No worries.
Jules, stop it.
Yeah.
Nothing's your fault. You're a gem.
So Lane, on the defense side, yes. Sorry, Aaron, I'm sorry. Jules, are you there? Another tiny home? Yes, Julie, she is across that way. She literally is like 10 feet away, but over there.
I'm waiting for her to poke in the window behind you.
So therapist, Lane, defense side. Yeah, wasn't he? He was on some of those Zoom calls during the motions. Yeah, I remember him. So is that Mert? Is that who we're seeing, or you're talking about? Because we saw him on the Zoom calls, and he was terrible.
Prison Break. It's the tall white guy from the Prison Break detective agency. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Jules is in her tiny house. Jules loves this. That's her favorite color, is the red. Let's see what else. Oh, Sure Life Creations. The judge is keeping things on track. Absolutely, said. The defense will be doing cross on the detective in the morning, which should be around 20 minutes, really. Okay, then state will rest. Then Sarah will take the stand by 10. Okay, so they're not going to call property manager, perhaps in rebuttal, perhaps. Okay, all right. Wow. So she will probably be done by the end of the day then, even with cross, Robin,
Sarah,
what do you
yeah.
Yeah. Robin, a tiny house is literally a tiny house. I did a video when I first came, if you want to go check that out. But this is a tiny house in Orlando, and this used to be a RV park that Adam bought, and then he turned all of these RVs into literally like these little 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. And it's on a lake. It's gorgeous. And some of the beds are on the ground, but my 2 beds are up above.
That's cool.
And and it's literally a tiny house. Yeah, go check out that video. I'm afraid to move my system here because I don't want to disconnect anything. But check out the video I did, and I did a little tour. But okay, so if Sarah takes the stand by 10, of course lunch is at 12 or whatever they break, and then they come back an hour and a half later. I mean, she has to tell her story. That's going to be at least an hour. And then cross would be 2 or 3, maybe?
It'll be at least an hour. I hope she listens to Owens, because I'm sure that Owens told her, you stick to this time frame. Do not talk about anything before that or anything after that.
Mm-hmm.
Stick to this. And so I'm hoping that she listened, that he coached her, or I guess guided her, and she listens, because if it were up to her, I feel like it would be a couple days of her rambling on about, because look at the interrogation. Ooh.
Hold on, guys. I've got a visitor. Hold on.
It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when he gets visitors. Come back and flip your shoe like Mr. Rogers.
Hold on, I gotta open the door.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
We're about to witness. We're going to witness an intruder.
We got it. I got it. Look who joined us.
Woo, Jules. Yay. Hey, girl.
No,
You good?
I'm not staying.
Okay.
Rach, I heard
Jules,
Dr. Rachel say, wouldn't that be
I
funny?
wanted you to crawl in through the window behind you. Next time, can you do that?
No, it's too high up for me.
Oh.
Scoot this way.
Darn it.
Oh, am I not?
Okay.
No, you're good.
Hold on, pause.
Bump your head there. Okay. How you doing? Sorry.
So you fixed everything? Thank you. We had a food crisis here just now. I apologize.
Food crisis?
What happened?
My husband, this is a true crisis, you guys. My husband went grocery shopping today. Of course, filled the pantry. My son, I see coming down, he's moping around, stomping around, and what is the deal? He's upset because he was craving lime chips. The lime chips.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah.
couldn't find them in the pantry. So I just text my daughter, can you like check in on him and see what's going on? She said they were in my room. And so she saved the day because she had the lime chips in her teenage room.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Get out of here.
You're getting photo bombed. You're getting photo bombed.
Yeah.
Video bombed.
You're so funny. She's the best.
Yeah.
Takes care of her little bro.
Oh, I love the little. Yep, there we go. Aw.
Okay. So cute. Anyway, that was our food crisis. I'm glad we've solved that. You would have thought that he was like, oh my gosh. Anyway,
crisis averted. Okay, so
yes. Okay.
Do you want to give your 2 cents
Jules.
while you have some energy?
You call this energy?
All right, well, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to...
I don't know. I will say her overall demeanor today was, she was very stoic. She was flushed in the face and neck the majority of the time of the day. She stared forward. She didn't look at the autopsy photos, which for me was horrendous.
Wow.
They were bad. I mean, I've seen autopsy photos, you know,
Really?
but these were
Pretty bad.
yeah, this was just a whole different ball game for me. One juror in particular throughout the day, on and off, was looking at her. She sits in the back row, right up against the wall, an older woman. And because in order to see, because where her seat, the jury box is like an alcove, so it sets back. So I mean, when she's looking, she literally go, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't feel well." She has to go like this. And she did that several times in the course of the day, but Sarah is not looking at the jury. She's not looking at the witnesses. She did not look at the videos. Okay, she stared straight ahead. Now, by the time I left, my overall opinion is 2 things. Either Mr. Owens spoke to her and told her to take it down a notch,
calm her activity down.
Yeah, and not show any emotion, or reality is setting in because she knows by 10:30 tomorrow morning she is going to be on the stand. She and the reality is setting in. And if she, I don't want to sound derogatory, but if she has an ounce of brains in her head, she's going to realize just what happened in the last 2 days is not looking good for her, because of the fact that the prosecution has been very methodical on how they have constructed the timeline. I mean, they started their timeline the day before and moved up to that night, and then everything that transpired after. And every contradictory statement she has made, especially today, was put forth to the jury. And I love her defense team. Mr. Owens, I've spoken with him. I've spoken with Mr. Henderson. I've spoken to the jury consultant. I've spoken to Mr. Henderson's daughter. The only 2 that I did not speak with was the PI and the third attorney, who really doesn't do much, to be perfectly honest with you. Mr. Henderson is doing a lot of the heavy load there, but you're talking true Southern gentlemen, and they are giving her the best defense that they possibly can with
Yeah.
what they have to work with.
Mhm.
And, you know, despite some other people out there bad mouthing them, I'm not doing that. They've got a job to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to the best of their ability. And they're not being, they're not out there in the limelight being, you know,
Yeah.
they're just not. They're just, they're doing it.
Mhm.
They're doing their thing.
They are
Yeah.
doing their thing. And,
Yeah.
you know, Mr. Henderson did say on Friday that, you know, that the state was going to rest. He had told me that on Friday. And then Mr. I can't even think because I don't feel well.
It's okay.
Mr. Owens told me today, you know, early this morning that the state was going to rest, but the defense is resting on Wednesday. So the state rests tomorrow morning. She takes the stand. Mr. Owens told me that he is resting on Wednesday.
Wow.
And his direct quote to me was, "We're all going home on Friday."
Wow.
I
Okay.
don't know what that means.
Well, that means verdict. Verdict will be in.
Well, he expects the jury to get it on Thursday, and a lot of times, yeah, jurors don't want to carry this over the weekend. So,
Right. Plus,
you know,
they may come
Okay.
to a decision, then sleep on it, and then come back on Friday.
maybe, yeah, maybe.
What?
Interesting.
Okay, I'll ask you first. How once the jury does get the verdict and we go into watch, what is your estimation? How long it will take them to come?
I
back?
don't know.
Is it too early to?
I want to. It's too early. I want
Okay.
to. I want to see what. I want to see how and what Sarah does tomorrow.
Right.
Agreed.
And how about you, Rachel? Dr. Rachel, what do you?
Yeah.
Still too early?
If I had to say, I don't think it's going to take longer than a day.
Yeah.
But again, I think Sarah could shorten that time. She
Mhm.
could lengthen that time depending on how much I feel like if we see these videos of
Mhm.
Jorge, how much sympathy I think people will have. And then, Jules, I wanted to ask you, because in jury selection, there was a juror who openly admitted she was a victim of domestic violence. Is she on the jury?
You know
Or was
what?
she cut?
They were picking it so quickly that I
Yeah.
honestly I can't answer that, but I can tell you that she is the juror that has the child that she needed to leave by 5:00. So
Right.
Judge Cranick gave her the opportunity to go make arrangements so she can stay
So
later.
that's what I wondered, if that was her.
That was her.
So,
Yes.
and so then she is on the jury, or she's an alternate. I don't know, but
Well, we don't. I don't know, but
Yeah.
if the defense rests on Wednesday, after closing arguments and stuff, I'll be able to tell
Yeah.
you then.
Mhm.
okay, yeah.
Now let me ask you about rebuttal, because we were kind of kicking around. I don't know if you were watching earlier. Or how much
I've
you
been
saw.
watching the whole time.
Okay, good. So what do you think that they're saving? Do you think the state is saving Brian for rebuttal?
They may not call him at all. The rebuttal witnesses always have to do with what the defense puts forward.
Okay.
So right now, let's be honest here. And Mr. Owens, if you're watching, I apologize because I respect you immensely. You're a wonderful defense attorney. But the state has not given the defense much to work with. They have not opened the door to anything to let the defense slide in on.
Yeah.
They've kept it very tight.
Yeah.
Now
I think that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For the state, sure. It's
Yes.
good for the state. It's very bad for the defense.
Yeah.
Now, it all depends what happens tomorrow with Sarah,
Mhm.
because Sarah's going to open up all these doors. Then we'll have a better idea on who. Right now, the only rebuttal witness that the state could come up with is going to be against Dr. Harper.
Mhm.
But if Sarah
Okay.
starts opening up this door, that door,
Mhm.
you know, and she brings up if she brings in Brian, if she, whoever she ends up bringing in, believe me, Mr. J is going to be very methodical and listening very carefully to every word that comes out of her mouth. And I hate to say this, but she's going to get decimated by him without a doubt.
Yeah.
And then he will bring in to rebut her. Without a doubt. So if she brings Brian in, then there's a possibility that the state will bring him back.
Right. To refute whatever.
Yes.
She
Or but Mr. Owens told me he had Sarah, Dr. Harper, and I can't remember who the third person was. That was all he had. So
Okay.
That's all I can think of for
that's
them
that's
as well.
all
Yeah,
he that's all he
who
had.
else is going to come in and testify?
Well, but it was Mr. Owens though on practically yesterday, especially in the morning, on every one of those witnesses he would not release. He said no, subject to call back. And Brian was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's gonna depend. We have to wait until after Sarah is done.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Now, question: can Owens raise objections while Sarah is testifying if she starts to go in a direction
why she's narrating and monologuing?
Once,
but like if she starts bringing stuff up that in pretrial they said can't be talked about, is he allowed to object?
Then he can because he could say that's already been stipulated to or what have you. But
gotcha.
But he's basically setting if he is going to go with the narrative, which Mr. J was pretty clear that Sarah was not going to be telling the truth. And if Mr. Owens knows that she is going to commit perjury on the stand, he can't question her because then
does an average juror know that though? I feel like they wouldn't.
No,
they don't know that narration means you're probably lying.
Yeah, the average juror does not know that.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? So if she does the narration, basically, listen, we're going to have another Jodi Arias on our hands. I mean, not to the point where she's going to be on the stand for 18 days, but her mouth is just going to run. And there's not going to be any stopping her.
Under stress, even in the 2-hour interrogation, she couldn't keep on. You're like, wait, what are we talking about here? And at one point, the detective goes, okay, what does that have to do with what the incident that we're talking about? I was like, come on, you're derailing. She's going to derail.
Yeah. I just keep going back to Tellis, and his monologuing, his narration, and we were just ripping him apart, and I can't wait to see Cross. And that actually brings me. We were kind of kicking this around. What tactic or what strategy do you think Jay should take? Mr. J should take it. Should it come in hard? Should it come in soft?
I don't know. I don't know how I would. I would start soft if it was me.
Yeah.
I would be gentle with her, probably the first 15 or 20 minutes. And then as I got to all of her inconsistencies and then pound on her, and
isn't it true that you said this? Isn't it true that you said that? Isn't it true that you said this?
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have video queued up.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He's got the receipts.
Yeah.
Because he wants to stop her at her tracks, and he's going to want to rattle her, and she's going to have the biggest attitude with him. I think if he can avoid making her cry, but he can show some of her anger, then that's helpful.
I don't think she's Dr. Rachel. You're the freaking psychologist. Yeah. I don't think she's capable of crying.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think we may see some of the and then totally back to normal, you know, like, but yeah,
Well-
I'm not sure what makes her cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the man she supposedly loved, she saw
Yeah,
pictures of him. I mean, what nobody saw
she took him
yesterday.
out of the suitcase with her bare hands and called 911 and didn't shed a single tear that entire
Nothing.
time.
There was
She wasn't
nothing.
even freaking out, except for herself
And I
and her
think,
own and her thirst.
and if I was a juror,
Mhm.
I think that would be one of the topics to discuss during deliberations.
Mhm.
For me,
Mhm.
I would bring that up, saying, you know, she's void. There's no empathy there. I mean, the ex-husband had to tell her 3 times to call 911 before she did. And there was, you know, no emotion, no nothing. And so how do you believe someone that claims to be you know, a battered
Mhm.
spouse? This is supposed to be someone she loved, and initially when you make
Yeah.
that first 911 call,
Mhm.
you're going to be hysterical, crying, you know, sobbing, something. She was
She was worried about what's going to happen to me.
She was
I'm thirsty.
hysterical.
I
but
need
yeah.
a cigarette. I want to go back inside. What's going to happen next? I need to plan for this. Why was he purple? What, like, it was just
Right.
bizarro. I mean, it
Well,
really was.
But that wasn't the 911 call. That's when the deputies got there. But her actual
Yeah.
phone call where she's doing the
Oh yeah,
compressions
my
and-
boyfriend's dead.
Yeah, she was a little hysterical, I thought. But
I
she
didn't
wasn't
think
hysterical
so.
to the point
Not,
of like
I didn't think there was enough there.
I thought she was mad that the 911 operator was not doing exactly what she wanted the 911 operator to do.
Yeah.
I
Like,
agree.
no, he's dead, and then do CPR. I already tried to do CPR. Like,
Yeah.
she wasn't.
No,
She
I
had an
don't believe
attitude.
I don't
Yeah.
believe she ever tried. I don't. Even
No.
even
Oh.
when the
I
you
would
do?
No, I said I
Oh.
would agree because she's like she's on the phone, but she's like
I don't
you
believe
should be
I
like
don't
that.
believe it. I
Dude,
don't believe it.
You would hear it. You would hear it, especially because theoretically she's got her phone like this and she's doing compressions. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I don't believe
you're
it.
not.
No.
I don't believe she
I'm gonna
did
tell you what happened.
it
I'm gonna tell you
before.
exactly what happened.
Go ahead.
Lay it on us.
She took him out of the suitcase. Sorry, I'm like splitting up a dog fight here. She took him out of the suitcase. She called Brian,
Mhm.
got off the phone with him, went and had a smoke, came back in. She called 911. They said, you need to do CPR. So she leaned over and she pressed on him a little bit, and she heard the gurgle.
Yep.
And she was like, ooh, I'm not doing
Yeah.
that, to herself.
Yep.
And they said, okay, come on, count with me. And then she's like, okay, 1, 2, 3. She would have been out of breath. She would have had to put the phone down on speaker.
Agreed.
You would have heard more sounds from him. She would have been like, oh my gosh, because it's gross. She would, like, if you do CPR like that, it's gross. Like, it's upsetting. It's gross. She would have been cracking ribs. She would, she was
Yeah,
not
there
doing
was
CPR.
none of
She
that.
never tried before, and she wasn't doing it.
Now, what I
Yeah.
did find extremely interesting, I wonder if there's anything here that I could demonstrate with.
What are you looking for?
Here, I could actually use this.
Could use Chris.
I'm going to do a demo.
Chris, lay down.
Oh, wait. No, not with what's coming this way.
What are we doing?
Okay.
Is
I
there?
don't know, I'm not
All
sure.
right,
I don't want any part of this.
I'm doing the
I
the
don't-
autopsy photos.
I don't want any part of this.
Right here. Excuse me, I'm in my son's clothes. I'm wearing them as
What do you
pajamas. But
have?
right here, okay,
Uh-huh.
picture here.
Yeah.
A circle, a circle, and a circle.
Mhm.
Just
Okay.
like almost like a crescent.
Okay.
Imagine this here being a baseball
It's a
bat.
sweeper.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a broom. Yeah.
But imagine this is the part that you hold, not the
Okay.
end that you're going to hit with, but
Yeah.
where you hold.
Yeah.
What a demo in court. That part of the baseball bat
Damn.
matches.
Wow. So she hit him like that.
So-
just poking him. She wouldn't.
Not like swing, but
Yeah.
Right?
down.
That.
Okay.
Now, are
Right.
those the spots that he was saying could have been just poked
Yes.
But like not hit, but just poked.
Pokes.
Yeah, pokes. Yeah.
But maybe boom. I mean, like a, and because now he was on his left side. I don't know, man. But they made a point with that thing with the handle,
Yeah.
you know, the butt of the bat. That.
So is Sarah going to demonstrate tomorrow what happened? Because they
Oh,
want the
good
suitcase
Lord.
and bat there. They
Oh,
asked
good
at the
Lord.
end of the day, Owen said, I need to make sure we need the suitcase and the bat present. So is she going to get up and show what she did? I don't know how that helps, but
that's not going to help her
gonna help.
because she's denying she did anything. So
Right.
that
if I
is
were them,
not
I'd be
going to
like,
help
can we get
her.
these out of here? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. This tooth here was like a half, like, you know how you have your two front teeth?
Broken.
One was full and the other one was like a half a tooth. Could have been broken. Now, was it?
Did they find it?
Well, no. There's been no
That piece of tooth.
testimony on it, but what made me think about that was because during the interrogation video, the detective talked about, she said his teeth were falling out.
Right.
So then it made me go back to the autopsy photo and saying, I wonder if that tooth was always like that, or did it happen that night?
Well, I think they would have found the piece of tooth, right? Even if he swallowed it, because they check stomach contents and that kind of thing.
Unless when she pulled him out, she grabbed it and threw it out for some weird reason.
But she missed the syringe.
Yeah.
She threw the tooth out and not the syringe.
I mean, again, just speculation. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
You know, and then with the video yesterday with the dogs, that just tore me up. You guys didn't see it. You guys only caught
yes, we did.
the bottom part of his legs, but
and the dog sitting there with it.
Both dogs were huddling with him, and in fact, somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody says, you know, we need to get these dogs out of here. The dogs wouldn't leave them.
I think that was the detective, the deputy.
I honestly, I don't remember, but you know, you see his body cam, and you know because and that's another thing too. You pull him out of the suitcase. Now, just think, in a panic, you're pulling somebody out of a suitcase, which I still can't wrap my head around.
I know.
Okay, I can't either. I mean, it's bizarre to say, right?
But you get him out. Now, you know he's not going to be picture me laying on the ground, but like this.
Yeah, no.
With both of his arms on the side, his legs are straight. No, there's something so off about that. But in the meantime, the dogs were here. So when the body cam footage of the cop or whoever it was, and you see the dog, I mean, the one dog is his little chin is on his shoulder, and it was very.
I can't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dr. Rachel, but that's but the thing of it is how was she had to have positioned him that way?
Yeah, because he was in a fetal position. I thought that's how they found him.
So Jules, we talked about that a little bit because I was asking about the rigor, because if she got him out and he was in rigor, he would still be in that fetal position. So I'd asked Cheryl Mack about it. She said that it could be he was loosening up because it had been 11, 12 hours. She could have broken the rigor. She said they have to do that all the time when they need to get bodies on gurneys.
Yeah, but they know what they're doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I just can't imagine a regular person like stretching somebody out once they're in rigor. Like that would be so creepy to even interact with the person at that point. It would be so hard. And so I think he had just been in there for so long, he was starting to relax. But she laid him on the floor like that. I mean,
I mean, because the thing of it is you're pulling somebody out and you're getting them out. It's like, you know, like whatever way they flop.
Yeah,
they're not going to flop just like that. So she had to position them.
Unless she did. Unless she picked up the suitcase and dumped it over, and then he just fell on the floor instead of her actually picking. Do you think she had enough energy to or strength to pick him up, or do you think she just like flipped over the suitcase?
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll find out tomorrow.
But then she had to lay him out.
That's what I'm saying. No matter what, she had to lay him out.
Yeah.
He did not come out from a fetal position in a suitcase to that position.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
He didn't.
Right, and she was doing CPR, so you can't do
No,
CPR.
we don't know if
Well,
she was doing CPR.
theoretically.
We
No,
don't
she
know.
wasn't.
Theoretically,
I mean,
so,
I know she said
Yeah.
she was,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's, I don't know.
but you're not going to do
No,
CPR on somebody in a fetal
She
position.
doesn't strike me as the type to.
She didn't have fluids on her. She didn't.
Something. She had nothing on her. I
Yeah.
do want to make mention, though, in opening statements, Mr. Owens, and now we're going to see how this, if what he said in opening, if he's going to play on this or not. He said that the 11-minute lapse between the first video and the second video is when the overt action took place to make Sarah fear for her life. That it was, go ahead, Dr. Rachel.
Well, couple little fingers poking out of the hole she left for him, but that she doesn't remember leaving because she doesn't remember that whole incident, but she knows she left an air hole.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
coming for you.
But she
coming for you.
she beat his fingers, she said, with a bat later. Then
Unless she gets up on the stand and says during that 11 minutes that he was throwing the F-bomb at her and he was threatening her and he was this and he was that, and that made her
911. He's in a suitcase.
Yeah, come help me. Yeah, but then that's a he said, she said. I mean, we're never going to know if that's the truth. That's just all coming from her. So, yeah, she could have very easily called 911, called the brother.
Leave the house. He isn't going to chase you.
She left the house plenty other times.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to go.
Okay, go, Jules. Go sleep. Go rest.
Thank you for
We love
popping
you.
in. This was quite an unexpected surprise.
Only because I heard Dr. Rachel say, wouldn't that be funny if you would let me out, please?"
I still want to see you
Let me
peek through
out.
the window.
Oh my God. What time can we get?
Come on.
We could
Well,
get
tomorrow's going to be a big day because they all know she's testifying.
so we should, same time.
All
We'll
right.
leave at 5:45. Okay. All right.
Oof.
All right.
Oof, I won't be awake at
See you
5:45.
tomorrow. Okay.
Shortly thereafter.
Well,
She had Traveling Teresa said she had 911 on speed dial every other occasion.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
But then they'd show up and she'd be like, "Don't understand."
Right. Yeah, the whole time we've been saying, it's been like we got there at 6 o'clock today, and there was one crew there, and they were just doing their morning live, and then they split. So again, most people didn't even show up until like 8 o'clock today. So we're like, oh man, let's sleep in an extra hour. But now the talk has been the whole time. Once news knows that she's going to testify, there's going to be more of a presence. So we'll see. You know, if this truly is like the last day for us to get there early, then I'm going to get up. I'm going to. Yeah,
this is the one day.
This is the one day. If I'm going to be there at 6 o'clock, this is the day to be there at 6 o'clock because I don't want to miss out. So, but all that being said, I'm good to wrap it up. What do you think, Dr. Rachel? You want to?
Yeah, we're good. Yep, I should
else?
probably.
I still have to have dinner, and I got to call the property
gosh.
manager for some reason. Yeah, so.
Okay, yeah, definitely. You got to take care of stuff and take care of yourselves. You don't need to be getting sick and run down doing this. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, that is true. So thank you, Dr. Rachel. Really appreciate your insight. And
thanks for asking.
If you want to come on again tomorrow, let us know. Or
it's gonna be harder tomorrow. I've got some night meetings to go to, but I'll definitely be with you guys during the day.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, chat. So I'm going to call tonight as well. It's 9 o'clock Eastern time here. Thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully Jules will be in the courtroom tomorrow. We know Mert will be there. Thank you, Mert, as always, for being in our chat. And we will be doing another lunchtime live with Mert. So check that out. And we appreciate Erin. She found this fantastic tiny homes community for Jules and I. So thank you so much to Erin, who is Trial TV Live. She operates everything from the back end, and we would not be here without her, literally and figuratively. So huge huge props to Aaron, and also our mods. We have OnlyFan, we have Julie, we have Therapist we have Rachel B, we have Brat. So thank you to all of our mods, and also we have our research ninja, Lil Miss. She's always out there finding good factoids for us. And yeah, just thank you everybody for being with us. We really appreciate you. We love you, and let's just make sure you love each other. You love each other. Love yourself, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow, probably 7:00, 7:30. We'll do another live, and we'll be in the chats tomorrow, and I'll be doing a live lunch recap with Mert as well. So have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.